So this is a CipherLab. Look, CipherLab. CipherLab 9700. Mobile computer, handheld terminal, whatever the hell you want to call it. Personally, I would like to call it quite literally the fucking Antichrist. Because this thing gave me hell. And I think it's still gonna give me hell. So this thing has a number of issues, both externally and internally. The big number one issue from the outside, you would say, would be its excessive use of rubberized plastics. So, if you don't know what that is, if you are familiar with ThinkPads, over time ThinkPads with their exterior rubber coating, it starts to melt, devulcanize. And at that point, it starts to get tacky, and then whenever the fuck you touch it, it looks like, it's all black and shit and makes terrible stains. Well, that's what this thing gave me. And, you would see here on the rubber guides, where you slide in either the cradle or the cup adapter, you would see it's kind of damaged over there because of the devulcanization. Even then, I tried my best to try and clean it up, and it still kind of looks like ass. See over here where the contacts is, it also looks pretty god awful. I look over here on the other side. See over there, it's like, yeah, it doesn't look good. Not really. And you can see all throughout the device, it looks like the rubber is even cracking in some places. See, there's a rubber part peeling off. See, there's where the triggers are, sight triggers. See, there's a part that is peeling off, over here, where the scan engine is placed. You can see that's where the rubber is. So, this device uses excessive rubber. I don't know why the hell it uses so much rubber. I think I woke it up. No, I fucking didn't. Okay. I don't know why it uses so much rubber, but it does. You can see over there. It's even attracting particles on it, which, even then, this, over time, it's not that sticky right now, but, in fact, it's not even really sticky at all right now, but, yeah, it's pretty bad. Consider this a scan engine, it's just a standard symbol SE4500. So if I actually look over the device, you see this is the 30 key variant. So you see the 30 key. Ooh, CipherLab, there's your LEDs. There's your battery, hand strap, stylus, which is not even official. I pulled this off a symbol device. And, yeah, you get a shitty 2.5mm headphone jack. So yeah, this is part of CipherLab's more newer Windows CE devices. In fact, this thing could have run either embedded handheld with like 3 different OSs. Either you could have had this thing running CE6, embedded handheld, Windows embedded handheld 6.5.3 is fucking Windows Mobile really, and then you could either have it running Android 2. So either Android 4, I think, or Android 5. I don't really know. This thing is running the most common configuration, which is CE6. So yeah, again, it's pretty god awful over there. It doesn't really look all that good in the exterior. But the exterior is like one thing. The other thing is that this thing seems to suffer from a strange issue, where sometimes if I either try and charge it or I try and use the device, all of a sudden it would literally freak the fuck out. It would have like a seizure. The device would go crazy. So it would blink the screen and it would act like I don't even know what the fuck it's trying to do. And I don't know. So far, these past few days I have gotten it to be stable. So when I charge it, it charges. Unlike last time I try and charge the damn device and then it would discharge instead of charging, which I don't even know how the hell that will happen, but that's what it did. So far it's acting like it's working. So now we can finally show off its terrible OS build that it uses. So if I remove the stylus over here, and then I'm going to wake up this stupid thing, and I'm going to see if it actually want to work for the camera. There we go. Make sure I put in this stupid lens cover in a different place. There we go. I'm going to wake it up. See, it uses a backlit keypad. There you go, you see, a standard Windows CE 6 desktop. See, there's your fucking 2014 ass looking wallpaper. You know, fucking brushed metal type of shit wallpaper, fucking garbage. Yeah, so you see, there is your desktop. So you see that the battery so far seems to be cooperating. So it's 91%. And see, it says good, backup battery is good. When I was trying to configure the device, installing applications and trying to, you know, customize them, whatever the hell, I had to switch the language off it because it came in Chinese. I had to fucking install an English firmware. And then I could only install an English firmware, and then when I tried to install like the hidden partition, which is supposed to be installed with the English firmware, it couldn't install. I don't know why. I had to install an older version of the hidden partition, and I don't know whether that did something or not, because for some reason, if you go to the power options, these show up. Schemes and device status, which this isn't supposed to be showing up as far as I know. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to give another option. It's only supposed to give out another option similar to schemes, but it only tells you when you want to suspend the device, how long it's going to suspend the device when it's on battery, and how long it's going to suspend it on external. Instead now it gives me this more specific options, such as power schemes for battery and AC, which you will notice it says from user idle to system idle to suspend, and then over here is obviously the same. You see all the states are toggled to never, but it completely ignores it though, because it still has it set to how it previously was when this thing was gone, and you know, was to the other way. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know why is it doing this, but whatever. I don't really give a shit. You see, and obviously over here it's not supposed to be showing this. It's supposed to be showing like not this at all. So I don't know why this is appearing now. You know, device status, and I'm able to see if power levels for all the things that's on this thing. I don't know. I don't really give a shit. Then there's unattended mode. I have this enabled because I think it's doing something to probably help it not go haywire. I don't know. I noticed that I have this thing enabled. It doesn't go completely crazy, but at the sacrifice of the battery life being completely utterly shit, because this thing can only last around a day or so suspended. Now again, I don't think if maybe that probably isn't the issue, because when I have this thing untoggled, I couldn't even really tell how long the battery would take, how long it would last, because it kept going crazy on me. So I don't really know. And unattended mode is weird because it has something to do with the wireless card too, because it says if you want to enable it with the Wi-Fi connected. Now you would think on the manual, on the manual will tell you what unattended mode actually does. No, it doesn't. I have no idea, because the manual has no mention of it. Even the latest manual, which is the revised one, is from 2021. It doesn't tell you anything. Zero information. I don't know what the fuck is this. And there's no help toggle over there. In fact, the help function is completely removed. There is no help. So, you know, obviously in applications that will still use it, see over here on the control panel, there's still your help button. I click it, there's nothing. So, you know, it's kind of stupid. Anyways, so you would see, you know, there's your taskbar, you know, wireless card, you know, uses a submit wireless claim of bullshit, whatever the hell. You know, obviously the battery bar. You know, you go to your control panel, you know, audio gain control. You know, this is where you set your specific audio controls, which is different from your other one, the Windows-based one. I don't know why there's two, but whatever. You see backlights. You know, this thing uses an light sensor, which is that thing right there. So it's able to automatically set it for you, like a newer device. So, you know, you see, this is where it sets when basically like your user and your system idle. And then obviously suspend is controlled by the power option, which again, the power option is kind of weird because it shows all those options when it shouldn't. See, ambient lights, blah, 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 blah. You know, this thing does have a backlit keypad. See, it's lighted up. Yeah. Yeah, you know, Bluetooth manager, you will notice that the Bluetooth manager doesn't even use the proper Bluetooth icon. That's most likely because CipherLab doesn't even have the rights or whatever the hell to use the stupid icon, but whatever. See, button assignment. So this is where you can set all your function keys, all this bullshit, blah, 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 blah. Fuck off. COM port mapping is bullshit, no one cares about that. You know, it's display, you see there's your wallpaper name, ST Water. See, as I said, a very 2014-esque looking wallpaper. Look at that shit. Again, I think it was like around the same time when this piece of shit was released, so yeah. You will notice that the default theme on this thing is Storm. They call it CipherLab, but Storm though. So it's kind of interesting there. You know, typical CE applets, no one gives a shit about that. Reader config, you know, that's very obviously set the imager settings, which for some reason when I installed the hidden partition, the older one, it fucked everything up. Even though the hidden partition I had prior was even older than the one I tried to install. So I had to use the newer one, which didn't work, and have this extract a specific package for this thing to work. It's a convoluted bullshit mess. Yeah, you know, SE 4500, blah 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 blah. No one gives a shit. Screen rotation. This thing does have some sort of, what the hell do you call it? I fucking forgot. I'm not gonna bother remembering. Storage information. You know, it has like a 4 gigs, 2 gigs, or I don't fucking remember how the flash size. So this thing uses a Texas Instruments CPU, not an OMAP one. It uses a DM3730, which is not an OMAP. And you see, it says it has a 1 gigabyte of RAM, despite it being 512 megabytes of RAM. So I think what it's doing is that it's counting everything up and still calling it RAM, which that is technically true. You can still set its memory division. One thing that's at least nice to this device though is that it carries persistency. So unlike most CE devices where if you remove the batteries or whatever the hell everything's gone, this thing carries persistency. So you will still keep your documents, settings, and everything as you would on an actual normal computer, despite this thing running Windows CE. Why they still have this function where you can set the memory division, I'm not sure why, but whatever. Let's see, device name, don't give a shit. Time sync, version viewer. You see, there's your Wi-Fi supplement client, whatever the hell. Did I already click on system information, or am I retarded? Okay, yeah, you see, this is the other configuration bullshit, you see? So you just set, see your model name, CPU, frequency, you see 1 gigahertz, memory, flash, RAM. So, so you see flash 4 gigs. You see this thing was made in 2017. And then you will see that my hidden partition is version 5.9. I tried to update to version 6, 1.6, so this is 1.59, and that one didn't go as planned. You see this is the latest OS version. So you see your typical bullshit, typical garbage. You see there's your bundled in applications, CE, there's a telnet emulator, control panel. I have it hooked up to the internet, it works. See, the signature app doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. I don't know why the hell it doesn't. The .NET version does, but the signature app doesn't. Again, I don't give a shit, so yeah, Internet Explorer. It's Internet Explorer since IE 6 or 5 or whatever the hell, it won't work. So I can only access websites that's meant for much older computers. You see, oh wow. She saying? She warns Trump that mishandling Taiwan could spark conflicts. They should just fucking nuke China at this point. I don't give a shit. She deserves to die. So if we go to user data, And prog, program. This is where all my programs I have installed over here is. So it's just a bunch of sample bullshit I have on this device. Typical garbage I have with literally every other CE device I own. I have it set to my network map. See, CE share. Yeah, I mean, it's Windows CE, not much to say. What really makes this device special is really just that, it has that terrible fucking rubberized surface, which CipherLab, being the fucking dipshit asses they are, ironically enough, they're actually a Taiwanese company. They obviously had to use an excessive amount of rubber. I'm not saying every device out here in this class doesn't use rubber. This Honeywell CK65 I own uses rubber. This Nordic ID Morphic also uses rubber. But this thing uses such an excessive amount, and it's a shitty material. Some shitty fucking synthetic petroleum-based garbage that it makes it melt, really. So it kind of makes it unusable. When I had to fucking try my best, so that means it wouldn't be so damn sticky, and at the cost of it is that the rubber is cracking and it looks ugly as shit and all that. And then obviously the secondary issue is that this device has a it goes haywire, really. It freaks out sometimes. So far, right now it's acting stable, but I don't know how long is it going to be until it decides to give up again, which it's weird. It's a very strange issue. I don't know whether it's an issue with the device itself or it's a battery issue, or I don't really fucking know. But this fucking CipherLab, CipherLab, more like Cypher Hell, because it's giving me fucking hell. But yeah, press the power button, you at least get a power menu. See, suspend, warm boot, you can switch it off. Gotta fucking click on suspend. See? There we go. Yeah.